my entire experience here has been similar to an ant that has to carry a house. Not only do you have the responsibilities of a student, but you have the responsibilities as an Indigenous student.
We go to school, it's like we're almost forced to be someone else.
People don't know we're here, and we're so very underrepresented on this campus, you know.
You're processing it in one level academically, but you're also processing it in another end culturally, and sometimes, and a lot of times, those clash.
It's kind of repetitive to have to keep explaining your ways and stuff to students.
Home is where my family is, home is where my people are, home is where my language is, home is where my way of life is. And coming to college has been like a big eye-opener to how much I need that. Like we talk about living in both worlds, the white man's world and our world, and right now I'm choosing to live in the white man's world, and that's like, I feel like I'm losing my home, my own world, my real world.
There's still a culture shock when you enter a classroom. In some ways you feel like a token, because in my program I was the only Native student in my whole program. So it was the first interaction that a lot of students had with American Indians or a Native person or Haudenosaunee person. So they have these questions, so you end up educating them at the same time.
You get questions like, oh, do you still live in teepees or stuff like that? You know, there's ridiculous, outlandish questions. And I remember my freshman year, I run into a house and they're having a Cowboys and Indians party. People are dressed up with feathers and war paint on. And you know, I went off and they're just like, oh, you just need to go. Like, you just need to go, we're gonna get in trouble, you know.
She wasn't aware of the cultural dissonance that occurs between Native American students and the institution, and different practices that professors use to gauge student participation and things like that. She said that, however, it's true that there wasn't any Indian voices this semester, and that was too bad. And I couldn't even respond to that, because first off, she's stating that the only greatest hits and classics of citizenship there can be are Western, and that she's stating that it's a diverse major, a major that accepts diverse perspectives, but only if it's a white cake underneath and it's just like rainbow sprinkles on top. Like, how is that truly diverse?
We're almost forced to act a different way and speak a different way, and we're constantly getting discriminated against. We're constantly having to finally see the outside world as it is.
It would be cool if they just had an idea of where we were from, rather than having to explain yourself to a whole class, because I'm really shy and it bothers me to have to do that sometimes.
For colleges not to have any support for us, we're just gonna keep turning away. They're not gonna have us enroll in their schools anymore.
Having to face these battles with your professors, with directors of majors, all the time, and even within classrooms with, you know, racist remarks that go unaddressed. It's exhausting. It's like, I'm not an expert and I don't know everything, and I shouldn't have to be the one who's always fighting back and, you know, opposing it if, you know, my complaints may not even be heard or accepted. That's what actually pretty much the reason I'm transferring. There's pockets of hardworking people that try and support Indigenous students, but there's nothing from the institutional level.
We're getting a space on mainstream platform, and what we do with that is going to decide how our future will be.